Hey, Matt, it's National Farmers Day.
Ooh.
Let's give it up for the farmers. And I got to tell you one thing for sure. Farming is a brutally difficult job, number one. But I will say this, look at that beautiful harvester behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Heated, air conditioned,
GPS
killer
control.
Sound system in that baby. I guarantee you, like farming now.
Well, aren't a lot of these just controlled, kind of by remote too? Like, you don't even
need to... there's a lot of, the remote tractoring at the grain carts that come in. I've seen several videos of people that have the remote tractor with the grain cart that can still pull up. But that is an incredibly expensive machine, and you don't want it having a glitch and taking and harvesting a fence line, for instance,
or a water line or a gas line.
Yeah, exactly. The grain cart, I
think that's what happened on the Crimean Bridge. It was a remote controlled.
Anyway, so yes, farming is incredibly difficult, but it has gotten a hell of a lot more comfortable to be a farmer over the years. I was a journey hobby farmer as a lad, and I for sure froze. There's only two places I've been the coldest in my life, Matt. One is Wrigley Field in April, and the other is sitting on a tractor.
I sat on section 1, row 81 in a Purdue game in like 1994 or 5, where Michigan won 5-0. And it was
I can see
literally
the lowest gray clouds available.
There was maybe 20,000 fans there. It was like -10. It was like it had iced, and it was seriously the worst weather ever been.
All right, Matt, listen, nobody had this on their bingo. Well, actually, some people did have this on their bingo card. Let me share, if you would, because we got to get to some farming news. News hot off the presses, because it's going to lead us to some fantastic price discovery around farming. It's full-fledged harvests going on right now. My favorite time of the year, by the way. The fall, the colors. But this, you shared it inside the network, and it was a Rumble video. This was from Free Spoke, who we have been dabbling with. Free Spoke, a new search engine out there, supposedly with more level-headed engagement. But New Zealand proposes tax on cow and sheep burps in attempt to curb emissions. And I responded to this because I thought, Taco Bell, shouldn't they be taxed for the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you go to Taco Bell, like you're telling me that you're not burping and also burp. The burps from down under is more. Not rain.
I get
Chef Rule, he keeps dissing me and not engaging with me. Come on, Chef, I'm funny. This is fun. This would have been a good thread. We could have talked about it. Nothing out of him though. Anyway, Matt, why don't we look at some of these?
I also think that the new Pete Davidson breakfast Taco Bell commercials also make you burp and vomit. So Pete Davidson and the Kardashians should be taxed extra also for the
Wait
burp,
a second though.
For the gas that they are causing the world.
I am trying to make a real argument here. How do you tax burping cows and sheep and not tax food companies that make? I mean, there's a lot more people. Mm-hmm. Right? So shouldn't you be taxed as a food company if your food causes burping and farting?
Yeah. So
it's ridiculous to begin with, but let's look at it. Let's look at Taco Bell.
So Taco Bell and CMG are going to be hit, obviously, since they have lots of beans. And Taco Bell.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Taco Bell peaked out here with everything else, the end of the year, 140. Recently, just the last day or two, hit a new low, 104s, trading 105 currently, paying a dividend 2.17. Again, COVID low, $55.
I actually thought that immediately when I looked at the chart. like this one in particular, nowhere near that COVID low.
Yeah, you can still get a half off sale here. So yeah, I wouldn't be a buyer here. This is not a pretty chart. It's definitely right sided, and to our continuous argument, that we're nowhere near bottoming just because we're down X percentage. Like, people got to get that shit out of their mind, because just because the market's down 25% doesn't mean it can't go down another 50.
And what are we looking at here?
This is Chipotle, which again, broke out of this little trend line here up to 1755 here just in September. Since then, it's been brutal. I mean, 1755, this was September 15th, so not even a month ago. That spike, and we talked about it. I said, I think you got to sell it. This is why I'm not a trend line trader. Right. This is why nothing changed on the profile just because it broke out of a trend line. Nothing changed. Right?
Say that one more time and emphasize profile.
Nothing changed on the chart because it spiked over this random line drawing, a trend line. Nothing changed. I don't like trend lines for this matter because everybody can see it.
Lee says from the gallery, it's just an effing burrito. By the way, should be taxed because it's heavily laden with beans that makes everybody fart, which is a climate problem.
Lee, next time you go to Chipotle, I want you to go off menu and order yourself a quesarito, because if you've never had one, then you're missing out what Chipotle is all about. So they take a quesadilla, then they wrap the burrito inside the quesadilla.
All right, Matt. Let's get back to Taco Bell and the $1.08 for 6.
What's that?
What was that? 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. I said when I was in high school, like after whatever, a football game or whatnot, before we went home, we would stop at Taco Bell, and if as long as I had $1.02 in my pocket, $1.02, I could pick up 2 bean and cheese and heavy onion burritos. And then the next morning, my dad would tax me for the farts as we were watching the Michigan game.
Exactly. Need to be taxed. Matt, let's talk beans. It's National Farmers Day. I thought Bush beans would be a good one to look at, but it's privately held.
Okay.
So we can't talk price discovery on Bush beans. Another one that will be taxed in this modern era of taxing everything that you could think of. But Hormel, you can't tell me, when you say Hormel, I almost burp just saying the word.
Yeah, but I see there's certain, I don't buy Hormel beans, but have you ever had their corned beef hash in a can? Oh my God, dude. That is stuff. Who knows what it is? But if a nuclear event is happening and you have cans of that around, you're going to live like a king.
Right, exactly. It actually has the iodine in it for radiation poisoning already. All right, this chart looks to me like it wants to fill out the rest of the value range.
Yeah, again, not a very sexy chart to begin with, or a trading vehicle, but again, pays a 2.2 and 2.25 dividend, 25 billion market cap, real company. Got as high as 55 here, just April of this year, but it's really been in the same range even during COVID. So, the interesting thing when I look at a stock like this is like something you want to put in your portfolio, like buy it when it's cheap. Unless, like you said, unless there's some tax on corned beef hash in a can coming out too. I don't know. And then what else? Like, does Hormel know who makes Spam? I think it is Hormel.
Yeah, I think it might be too.
So yeah. Again, you got the nuclear freeze out products. I mean, I think analysts should be all over this one right now with what's happening in the world. They've been downgrading everything, but maybe they should put an upgrade on Hormel. It is a bullish chart all the way down to 39. So let it fill it down here another $6-7 and start picking some up. What the heck?
Beautiful.
I like
beautiful.
It. And then, just for
just let's round out
the fast food fun. Since we talked about beans, let's also talk about McDonald's and how you're not safe in McDonald's even in a inflationary environment. 272 is holding, but again, this bracket, we're really in this 40, 50 point bracket called 270 down to 215, 220. And still above value, but when it gets back into there, it will, if it gets back down below 210, it's probably going to fill the bracket down to 160. So, and then the COVID low, 124. Again, McDonald's pays a 2.25 dividend, not going away. Again, nothing wrong. When you buy the stock matters for sure. When you buy it matters, but it's also not a bad place to earn a dividend when you buy it low, because you're at least going to get a dividend always. And
what is McDonald's paying?
2.25. Seems like that's the number on all these stocks that we've looked at today. And then Domino's Pizza. Let's just look at another Michigan-based pizza original. You had Little Sleezers, and you had
30 minutes or less, even if we kill someone. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore. But it was a good model. So anyways, we're gone from 573 Domino's, holy shit, January, all the way back down here to 303. And again, just getting into value, why wouldn't we trade back down to at least 250, which is another $50?
I got to tell you something, Matt. I don't care what fractal it is. When you start to understand the profile, it just makes your decision making so much cleaner and easier. When I look at that now, I'm like, it's almost flip a coin leaning towards why wouldn't it fill the rest of it to the downside?
Right.
And if you have a bullish bias, you've got to be patient on this. If you're just a buy and holder, once these things enter, I don't care what time frame it is, once it enters a beautifully symmetrical profile just like that, you got to respect it. You got to respect the fact that the price discovery could take it and fill that whole value range.
Yeah, this is a 5-year chart, so this isn't a short-term chart, but it's one that I think gives a very good, clean picture of where these things are. We're not, like you said, we're not in a bull market. And if you don't think these things can be in the underbelly of the profile, because we don't see a lot of those stocks right now, and we haven't seen them for 15 years. So I think people are just, again, so conditioned to be rats and think that the Fed's going to save you and lower interest rates. We know that's not going to happen for some time. So give up the ghost. And there's nothing wrong with playing the short side. Matter of fact, you can make a lot more money, usually a lot faster on the dark side of the market when these things start breaking like this. So.
I wanted to just say that I saw the tweet again today, and I forget what the time frame was on the tweet. I wish I had to bring it up so I could be completely accurate. Mm-hmm. But it was something like that. The market the U.S. market is only closed down 3 years in the last I don't know how many years, and then every year after that, it's gained between 20 and 40%. Like that history is just going to repeat itself. And I talk to people. Nobody, I am telling you, 0 people out there that aren't involved in markets think that we could have a 2-year, 3-year bear market. When you tell somebody the dot-com bubble, it took the NASDAQ 14 years to recover that, they immediately say no way. Like they immediately say no way. And you're like, well, look at the chart. I mean, I'm the barrel of bad news here, I guess. Barrel or bearer. And if it's harvest time, it's barrel. If it's not harvest time,
well,
it's
if you're the sheik, it's barrel. If it's harvest time, it's bearer.
All right, Matt. Let me share a chart that I wanted to come back to because we talked about it last week, maybe, and that is since it is harvest, and we are talking farm products, and it is National Farmers Day. This is the bean, and we're talking D's or no bean D's corn, the D's corn spread, intercommodity spread, not a calendar spread, although there's a little calendar
nuance there.
But this is beans over corn. All right, beans over corn. And I said this thing had been bracketed fairly nicely, 713 up to, let's call it 860. And once we broke that bracket, through history, this has been a much lower spread. And we had the break of it, and we've come right back to it. I think this is a great place to take a shot, selling beans, buying corn. And then if we just fractal out, you can see where this thing has spent time. And it's spent time a lot lower. All right, so the $4, let's just call it the $4 to $5.40 range. I don't see why we can't go back there. Again, and it's pretty defined. this thing really shouldn't recapture, like I'll call it 720 to the upside, beans over corn. Again, I think it's a clean chart. It's a way to play grains that sometimes spreading is less violent, sometimes, not all the time. I've seen more people carry it out on an intercommodity spread, particularly the hog
because
cattle
you
spread.
you get flipped on it, and it's going to really go.
Yeah, and since it's an intercommodity spread, you don't get a margin benefit. If it's a calendar spread, you get a margin benefit, like having a calendar spread in corn or in beans or in cattle or in hogs separately. There's a margin benefit to that calendar spread. In an intercommodity spread, you margined on both sides of it, and you can lose on both sides of it. You can be long beans short, or long corn short beans, right? And corn can go down and beans can go up, and you get smoked on both sides of it. Schmoked. I just made that up too. Smoked. What do you got on your smoker? I don't know. He's got a fantastic smoked meat food cart. Anyway.
And he's going to pick me up at 6 in my Scirocco, and we're going to get some.
We're going to, fellas, if you smoke them, if you got them.
Do you remember that David Spade where he did that character? And he would literally go, "I'm going to pick you up," and he had a lisp. And I'm going to pick you up at 6 in my Scirocco, and we're going to get some pizza.
All right, Matt. Baseball last night.
Some big balls were hit. Big balls.
Matt had the Padres winner.
No, I had the Padres Mariners 2-team parlay, and Mariners were the first game. Well, Phillies were the first game. Phillies win again, by the way. They've run 3 in a row. They've only played 3 games. The recession is strongly building.
Wait a second. The White House has affirmed us that even if it does happen, it's only going to be short, because they have the perfect crystal ball there in the White House, and they can see these.
Jean-Pierre knows everything. Oh, no, she knows nothing. Hold on. I was wrong. I mean, the Phillies won 7-6. It was closer than it should have been. And then the Mariners were just in control, 4-0. Then it was 4-2, then 6-2. So they had 2 4-run leads. Then they were up 2 going into the 9th, and they had 2 outs, a guy on, and then they walked the guy, and then they put up, the guy, I don't even know, it's Alvarez or whatever. The big burly home run hitter. He's a lefty. Already popped out a opposite field lefty home run.
We call that a slapper.
Like it was a pop-up.
He slapped it opposite field home.
Opposite field, like upper deck, pop-up, solo home run earlier. So what the heck, let's put him up with a new relief pitcher also, by the way, who hadn't even come into the game. And let's pitch to him with 2 guys on, which he's the winning run there with 2 outs. Let's just pitch to him.
Nothing like blowing out the parlay early, And I don't care. It's the beautiful thing. It's like golf. I don't care if you're playing in a 10-cent, if it's 10 cents a point. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Once you put 1 little shekel on something, you're more involved.
I was interested. Yeah.
Exactly. You're screaming at him, walk him. For God's sakes, walk this guy. What are you doing?
Because what does it matter if you lose by 1 or 2? It's the bottom of the 9th anyways. I don't care if the rickety shortstop who hasn't hit a home run in 60 games then hits a home run. Like, seriously, what happened to Billy Bean Moneyball? Like, they got all these analytics. Like, somebody needs to be fired for that decision.
Somebody went on gut feel, Matt.
Gut feel.
There was a giant collective burp.
They were taxed for that, by the way.
Yes, we need to tax burps and farts, and that's what I'm going to run. I'm running on that. That's my platform. We're taxing burps and farts, and
Devontae Adams charged with misdemeanor, for beating the shit out of the photographer who was just running.
I saw it. First of all, if a passerby hits a cameraman when they're holding those contraptions, they're going down anyway.
Listen, it's after the game. The guy was just probably running across to get out of his way, and
here's the question, and I think Jason, who's our friend Jason that does the sports stuff, he said had he been a gentleman and just stopped and picked the guy up, it's completely forgotten. It's
But he
just a
kicked
little
him in
tip
the,
here.
but he kicked him in the head too.
No, he did not kick him in the head. Just be a gentleman. Oh, I'm sorry. I blasted you to the ground. Here, let me help you.
I know I'm
Just be a
230
gentleman.
pound, 6'3" man who just throttled you. I know it probably hurt a little bit, but let me help you out. Yeah.
All right, Matt, you brought up you brought up the Ozzy Osbourne Crazy Train tune.
Yeah.
Why don't you share the article, because maybe
I killed it. So
he killed it. All right.
I was hoping
The article was basically saying that the
rail strike
railroad
has
strike
not
is not.
it has not been avoided. That is correct. Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about another thing that will disrupt and we've covered some of those.
This one though, kind of, this type of thing. Gunman wearing a black ski mask fired 30 rounds when he killed New York accountant. So what happened? Like, I mean, he was probably just making sure that he paid his tax on beans.
All right. Stop bringing stuff up that I will laugh at, that it's inappropriate. Somebody died here.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's horrible. Please. What do we got? We got Thursday night football. Maybe I'm going to go out here right now. We talked about attendances, right, at the Rose Bowl. The Bears Commanders game on Thursday night football might have the least viewership of any game that's nationally televised all year. That's my bet. That would be my prop bet.
Where is the game?
Who cares? Who cares where the game is? Nobody's. Now, I'm not talking about at the game.
I mean, at this point, how bitter are you that you didn't sign Jimmy G back in week 2?
The whole NFL Reddit thread was how this narrative that they're trying to say that Justin Fields managed a great almost comeback. I love that almost comeback. It's not a comeback. Yeah, it's not a comeback if you don't win. First of all,
hey Bob, it is in the everybody gets a trophy generation.
It is not a comeback. I'm sorry, you lost. And the Reddit thread.
Well, you need to say it like this: don't call it a comeback.
Yeah, it's not a comeback. It's playing the rest of the game and losing. Thank you for doing just enough not to win. And the whole thread was the Vikings do this with everybody. I could play quarterback for an NFL team in the fourth quarter and mount almost not winning comeback, which isn't a comeback. It's still a loss.
but it was close.
It was close.
Something.
It was close to being an almost winning comeback, but it was
not. I did want to talk, since we're talking a little bit about taxing gas. Let's talk about the ugliest corporate logo ever, which is UPS. And we've talked about this before when it broke down, and it's again just kind of hanging in here. And I just got to point out that this will be another, with Prime Day and everything going on today. It's interesting because, like, locally, I don't know about you, but have you noticed that, you and I, do you get a lot of packages delivered to your house from UPS, from Amazon or whatever?
For sure. It was, we got a lot more when there was construction going on and decorating and things like that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, I have a monitor here, a really good one. And it's a little white dog that is terrified of the UPS and the FedEx truck, right?
Yeah.
And when those trucks turn the corner, you never seen anything move faster in your life than her heading to the backyard. And it doesn't happen a lot. Like the street, not just me, the street has seen these trucks far fewer than they did 6 months ago, for sure.
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting is, we live in where I live and where you live, it's congested. You have a lot of families and a lot of people living there. You got a lot of ADUs, right? Houses in the back of a house. And I don't know if you've noticed, but UPS doesn't deliver 100% of the packages that are supposedly UPS. There's these like final mile companies here, and I'm sure they're everywhere, right? So, and they do. I know people that own these, I guess franchises for FedEx that do the same thing. So they have a sling of 50 cars or whatever. They're white, they're unmarked, and they're. But here's what's horrible, like, is it's still supposed to be UPS, and they leave it in the wrong places. They don't deliver packages like where you tell them to. They don't deliver it to unit 1. They deliver it to unit 3, and then so this has to be costing UPS and FedEx money over the long haul by farming out this stuff. I don't, and this is kind of playing out. So I think over time, and these companies are going to be pinched too over time, because I think demand will, come in at some point also. So I just find this interesting as we go into the holiday season here. We're, just 2 months away from, this is your most favorite time of year. But a lot of people, it's, 12/25. That hole there, I'm going to just point it out again, because when this breaks, and whatever it is that breaks this, 156-20 is going to happen like bam. So, this is one.
I honest to God, that can't be clearer. It can't be clearer. And if people are pinched.
What I would say is I think you can buy in the money puts on this out the next year. Pick a time frame, 6 months, 9 months, a year. Depends on how much you're going to pay more for the further out, or you can buy them every month and put it on every month. However you want to, layer some type of diagonal or something further out.
And to be clear,
collect some premium until, so, you know what I mean? There's a lot of.
What is the low end of this here?
I mean, basically 153, 150,
Okay.
We're at 160 right now. So, if you bought like 190, 200 strikes, something like that, I think it's a cheaper way than just selling the stock outright. You don't have to take a 40-point bounce, because we're at a point where it could bounce again too. So, but it's hard. Again, you have to be in it. You have to be in it, because when it happens, it's just the bottom's gonna fall out. So I point these things out just because these are good setups, I think, for people that are afraid of shorting. But this is a legitimate company, but just because of where the economy is, I don't see this, recovering and going over 220 again and anytime near. So again, if you buy the 190, 200 puts, they're already in the money. I think it's going to pay off pretty handsomely, at least a double.
Bingo. I love it. I love the strategy. And not a lot of people talk about that particular options way of shorting a market.
Yeah.
In the money put buying.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Happy National Farmers. Go ahead.
I just wanted to point that out.
Right on. Happy National Farmers Day to all you farmers enjoying the comforts of your 21st century harvester cabin. Beautiful.
By the way, the 2-10 spread, the 2 year over the 10 year, still 40 basis points.
Yeah, PPI comes out and it's twice what they expected. This whole thread of everything's just going to be fine and buy the dip, and this is just like it was the last time. I don't know how many threads I've been watching.
Yeah, Hunter Biden, he's a crackhead, but he's clean now, so everything's good.
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't get me started on that. And we forgot to do the trial on whether, but we told you we did. Yeah, but we forgot to. There wasn't time to do it, but we told you that it did what it was supposed to do, or what you asked if it did. We did that. We did tell you that, even though we had no basis for telling you that, other than it increased sales and animosity between family members. So we got that going for us. Thank you very much. Brought to you by Fuck You. Anyway, Matt, I think that's it. Is that it?
Well, the other thing, again, just to make sure you're up to date in current events, Kanye episode was axed by LeBron, of course, because of his hate speech. So Kanye was back on Twitter for one day and he got canceled. I think that was his plan.
So ye, and I'm sticking with it, Matt. Ye, not yay, just like the Bible says. Hear ye, hear ye. He's off Twitter. That was short-lived.
Yeah, less than
because was the LeBron on the board at Twitter or what?
Well,
you know what I like watching, and I watch it closely, Matt, and that is the commercial with LeBron. It's a cellular commercial. Yes.
Oh, the AT&T. Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. The AT&T. You mean how he's taking over? I mean, that's his attitude with everything. That's why the commercial's perfect.
My point is, I watched the commercial obviously several times, and those two are not in the same room. They never. No. It's filmed completely
all green
screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
He
So
didn't
Lily, you don't even have to worry. He's not taking your job. First of all. And by the
But-
way, Howard Stern, how do you feel, Howard, about hiding in your house for 2 years because of all those nasty people that wouldn't get vaccinated when the vaccinated people that you invited into your house
they're the ones that are giving you the shit.
were the ones putting you at equal risk to the ones that you didn't want to go hang out with? Put that in your little pipe and smoke it. Howard, the ultimate against the man until became the man and then just embodies the man now.
Yeah, until he got the $1 billion paycheck from Sirius. Yeah. Then everything was flipped hard.
What a joke, Howard. You're a joke.
You and Geraldo should go out.
The joke is on you. Blank Willow. Oh, Howard Stern. Let me say that again. Blank Willow. Howard Stern. Yeah. Pussy. Thank you, Matt.
Meow.